Been with Narad, the divine singer, who was singing of love and light, has to change his tune when he enters into this earth zone, and he begins to sing of the inconscient, of darkness, and he sang of the truth that cries from night's blind deeps. In the unseeing depths of inconscience, symbolized by the night, there is a cry of truth. Truth that is imprisoned, truth that seeks to emerge. So Narad sang of the truth that cries from night's blind deeps, and the mother wisdom hid in nature's breast. Nature, it may appear to be mechanical, to be blind, but in the breast of nature, in the womb of nature, there is a mother wisdom that guides. As we noted earlier, this world has wisdom for its eye. Prajna netroyam lokaha. It may appear to be revolving blindly, but there is something that leads, something that compels its steps in the intended direction. And the idea that through her dumbness works, and the miracle of her transforming hands, of nature, of life that slumbers in the stone and sun. Narad sings of life that is asleep in such an apparently lifeless thing as stone and the sun, and mind subliminal in mindless life, in things like the plants, animals, where mind is not yet awake, there is a subliminal mind, a mind in the interior, and the consciousness that wakes in beasts and men. In all orders of creation, there is the presence of a consciousness. So there is hope. That's what the poet drives at. He sang of the glory and marvel still to be born, of the Godhead throwing off at last its veil. At last, when the hour comes, the evolving Godhead will throw off its veil and show its true face of bodies made divine and life made bliss. Immortal sweetness clasping immortal might. In our state of ignorance, sweetness and might are two far distant things. But in the ultimate consummation, sweetness shall clasp might. Heart sensing heart, thought looking straight at thought, not blinded through intermediaries, and the delight when every barrier falls. It is because there are barriers between form and form, between person and person, that there is conflict, there is suffering. But when the last barriers fall, there is a flow of delight and the transfiguration and the ecstasy. So Narad sings of the future, of the emerging future when everything will change. And as he sang, the demons wept with joy, foreseeing the end of the long, dreadful task, and the defeat for which they hoped in vain, and glad release from their self-chosen doom, and return into the one from whom they came. There are several concepts, ideas in this sentence, that when Narada speaks of the certainty, of the inevitability of the victory of God, the demons weep with joy, because they are now kept slaves to the dreadful task of opposing God, delaying the advent of God. So when they are told that God is going to win at last, they foresee that their slavery will be over. They will no longer be compelled to participate in the anti-God campaign. And inwardly, though they have been doing that, though they have, in a certain sense, chosen this doom, secretly they had been hoping for their defeat, so that God will destroy them and they would be liberated into their true nature. So he says, and as he sang, the demons wept with joy, foreseeing the end of the long, dreadful task, and the defeat for which they hoped in vain, and glad release from their self-chosen doom. We have known in mythology how all the demons choose to be demons, go against the will of God, and become his adversaries, and return into the one from whom they came. Even the demons, even the asuras, even the devil, they are children of God. Later on, somewhere Sri Aurobindo refers how to the infinite mother, to whom her white children are as dear as her dark children. He means children of light and children of darkness. So, and return into the one from whom they came. He who has conquered the immortal seats, that is, Narad, the divine man, who has assumed the status of divinity, came down to men on earth, the man divine. So singing, Narad arrives and touches the earth. As might a lightning streak, a glory fell. As he descends, there is the descent of a light, a glory, nearing until the rapt eyes of the sage, as like a lightning streak the glory falls, Narad looks out with his concentrated eyes, looked out from luminous cloud. He is as if coming on a cloud, and strangely limbed, his face a beautiful mask of antique joy. His face as it appears from here is, there is an antique joy, an ancient, a very old countenance of joy, a beautiful mask, because what it is there really one does not know, but joy is the mask, and his face strangely limbed, strangely outlined, appearing in light descended, where arose King Ashwapati's palace to the winds in Madra. When he descends, it is as if the palace is rising up. He has that feeling. Flowing up in delicate stone, the palace, constructed as it is in stone, says it is flowering up in delicate stone. the architecture, the sculpture is so delicately done that the whole thing as it rises appears as if it is a flower that is blossoming. There welcomed him the sage and thoughtful king, father of Savitri, Ashwapati. He is both a king and a sage. At his side, a creature beautiful, passionate, wise. Mark the adjectives. The queen is beautiful. Not just sedately beautiful, but passionate. Not clouded with passion, but wise. Aspiring like a sacrificial flame skyward from its earth seat through luminous air. She is sitting by his side like a sacrificial flame which is moving, aspiring upwards through the luminous air. Queen Broad, she has the dignity, the appearance of a queen. Her eyebrow has that status, the human mother of Savitri. Human mother. Her real mother is somewhere else. But here on earth, she is the human mother of Savitri. Then for an hour, after Narad arrives, he is welcomed by the king and the queen. Then for an hour, untouched by the earth's siege, they ceased from common life and care and sat. That is, all the cares and anxieties of the earth laying siege to human beings, all that stopped for a while, because he is singing, Narad is narrating, and sat inclining to the high and rhythmic voice. His voice is rhythmic. What's that? Rat. So earth siege is still here. There for an hour, untouched by the earth's siege, they ceased from common life and care, and sat inclining to the high and rhythmic voice, while in his measured chant the heavenly seer spoke of the toils of men and what the gods strive for on earth. Not only the men toil, but he speaks of even the toil of the gods, and joy that throbs behind the marvel and the mystery of pain. Mystery of pain, and it is a wonder. What is that wonder? What is that mystery? And what is the joy that throbs behind pain? All these high themes form the subject of Narad's song. He sang to them of the lotus heart of love, with all its 1,000 luminous buds of truth. Love is compared to a lotus heart, and it has 1,000 luminous buds of truth. Not one bud, but love expresses itself in 1,000,000 ways, in 1,000 ways, which quivering sleeps veiled by apparent things. The lotus heart of love vibrates and sleeps behind the curtain of surface appearances. It trembles at each step, each touch, each vibration, each touch awakes that love. It strives to wake, and one day it shall hear a blissful voice. One day, Narad says, that lotus heart of love shall hear a blissful voice of God, and in the garden of the spouse shall bloom, in the garden of the beloved shall bloom when she is seized by her discovered Lord. That lotus will bloom when this love from below is captured, seized by the Lord from above. That is when the divine descends and accepts love, earth's love, the lotus of love shall bloom. And as he says this, as the God-man sings of this love, a mighty shuddering coil of ecstasy crept through the deep heart of the universe. The vibrations, the coil of ecstasy goes on, rolling and rolling. It doesn't stop anywhere. It crept through the deep heart of the universe. Out of matter, out of her matter, stupor, earth, out of her matter, stupor, her mind's dreams, she woke. She looked upon God's unveiled face. As he sings, as he speaks of that love and that eventual blossoming, earth wakes up and she looks upon the unveiled face of God. Even as he sang, and rapture stole through the earth time and caught the heavens, as he is speaking, as he is singing, as the rapture is spreading and catching the heavens, came with a call of hooves, the carriage carrying Savitri, chariot, is speeding along, and there is the sound of the hooves of the horses, as of her swift heart hastening. It was as if her own heart is hastening to reach, and came Savitri. Her radiant tread glimmered across the floor as she speeds in. Her radiant tread, footsteps shine across the floor. A happy wonder in her fathomless gaze. She is in that intoxicated state of having discovered her companion and having met her love, and a happy wonder in her fathomless gaze. A happy wonder in her fathomless gaze, changed by the halo of her love she came. Her entire face and appearance are changed. Her eyes rich with the shining mist of joy, as one who comes from a heavenly embassy, as though she is an ambassador who has come with a mission from heaven, discharging the proud mission of her heart as if she has discharged the proud mission, and one carrying the sanction of the gods to her love and its luminous eternity. She walks with the confidence that the gods have sanctioned her love, which shall last for eternity. She stood before her mighty Father's throne, and eager for beauty on discovered earth. She has discovered a new life, a new earth, and she is eager to share that beauty. Transformed and new in her heart's miracle light, she saw like a rose of marvel. As she sees, she looks at Narad and she sees him like a rose of marvel, worshipping the fiery sweetness of the Son of Heaven. He was sweet. He had that luminous look, fiery. Savitri looks at it, and when she looks at him, he flung on her his vast immortal look. Narad flings his vast comprehending look immortal. It does not die. It always leaves its impression. His inner gaze surrounded her with its light. Inner gaze. As he looks with the naked eye, the inner gaze surrounds her with its light and knows what it is there. And raining back knowledge from his immortal lips, as he covers her with his light of inner gaze, he knows what is what. And that knowledge rushes to his lips, but he rains back that knowledge. And as if he does not know anything, he asks, he cried to her, "Who is this that comes the bride, flame-born, and round her illumined head, pouring their lights, her hymeneal pomps move flashing about her." He says, who is this bride? Because around her luminous head there are the pomps, the lights and the brilliancies of marriage. They move about flashing. From what glimmer of glades, forest, retreating into dewy silences, or half-seen verge of waters, moon betrayed. That means forest scenes. It could be glimmer of glades, green, which are retreating into silence of dew, or it could be verge of waters, moon betrayed. The moon shines and one knows that there is water there. Bringest thou this glory of enchanted eyes? From which of these dost thou bring this glory that we see in thy enchanted eyes? Earth has gold-hued expanses, shadowy hills that cowl the dreaming phantom heads in night. He describes, we know that earth has gold-hued expanses, plains which wear the hue of gold when the sunlight shines on them. Shadowy hills that hide their dreaming heads in night, we don't see their peaks. And guarded in a cloistral joy of woods, screened banks sink down into felicity. We know that the banks of rivers, guarded in the enclosed woods, joy of woods, they sink down the banks into felicity, seized by the curved, incessant, yearning hands. The waves, the waters of the stream, it is as if they seize in a curved manner the banks to hold it, and ripple passion of the up-gazing stream. Amid cool-lipped murmurs of its pure embrace, the waters and the banks, they lose their souls on beds of trembling reeds. On the banks there are these grass reeds which are vibrating, and the waters lose themselves. And all these are mysterious presences in which some spirit's immortal bliss is felt. These are all scenes where the immortal bliss of God is felt in nature, and they betray the earth-born heart to joy. Earth-born heart is born to grief. But such scenes as of the hills, the rivers, the banks, the gold-hued expanses, they betray the earth-born heart to joy. That is, they raise waves of joy. There hast thou paused. Thou art so happy. There is so much of felicity in thy eyes that there hast thou paused, and marveling born eyes unknown to you, some eyes have watched you, or heard a voice that forced thy life, or thou hast heard a voice that forced thy life to strain its rapture through thy listening soul. That voice must have been so powerful that thy listening soul through the rapture of the listening soul, you have heard that voice. Or if my thought could trust this shimmering gaze, if I can trust my thoughts, it would say, thou hast not drunk from an earthly cup. Thy intoxication is not due to have drunk ecstasy from an earthly being. But stepping through azure curtains of the morn, blue expanses of the morn, thou wast surrounded on the magic verge, in brighter countries than man's eyes can bear. That is, thou hast been to countries which man's eyes cannot see. Assailed by trooping voices of delight, and seized mid the sunlit glamour of the buffs, in fairy woods, led down the gleaming slopes of Gandhamadan, where the Apsaras roam. That is, this fairyland, you must have visited some fairy country. Thy limbs have shared the sports which none has seen, and in God haunts the human steps strayed. The human footsteps have strayed, not purposely, but somehow they have strayed in the haunts of gods. Thy mortal bosom quivered with God's speech. Some God has spoken. That is why thy bosom has quivered, and thy soul answered to a word unknown. What feet of gods, what ravishing flutes of heaven have thrilled high melodies round, from near and far, approaching through the soft and reveling air, which still surprised thou hearest. It is as if thou hast been completely overtaken by surprise, and thou art still listening to those footsteps of the gods, to the ravishing flutes of heaven there, from far and near. They have fed thy silence, those melodies, those footsteps, they have fed thy silence on some red, strange, ecstasied fruit. And thou hast trod the dim moon peaks of bliss. From her appearance, Narad says, it is not an earthly haunt, a human haunt, but it is some fairyland, some haunt of the gods, some high melodies which are still ringing in their ears. Reveal, O winged with light. He sees her as if she has wings of light. Reveal, O winged with light, whence thou hast flown. Thou art a bird, hastening bright-hued through the green tangled earth, thy body rhythmical with the spring bird's call. Thy body, thou art winged with light, and thy body is rhythmical with the call of the spring bird. The empty roses of thy hands are filled. Her hands, he says, they are empty roses. They are like roses, but there is nothing in the hands. The empty roses of thy hands are filled only with their own beauty and the thrill of a remembered clasp. They are beautiful, no doubt, but some clasp has taken place. Somebody has clasped thy hands, and the thrill of that remembered clasp fills these hands, and in thee glows a heavenly jar, thy firm, deep, honeyed heart, new brimming with a sweet and nectarous wine. The jar of thy heart is filled with the deep honey of the nectarous wine. Thou hast not spoken with the kings of pain. Surely, thou hast not had any encounter with the kings of pain. Life's perilous music rings yet to thy ear, far melodied, rapid, grand, a centaur's song, That is, the music of life is still full of melody for thee, that it is perilous ultimately. That has not dawned. Life's perilous music rings yet to the ear, far melodied, rapid, grand, a centaur song. We came across this word earlier, a centaur, half animal and half horse, or soft as water plashing mid the hills, or mighty as a great chant of many winds. Moon bright, thou livest in thy inner bliss. Obviously, thou livest in an inner bliss. Thou comest like a silver deer through groves of coral flowers and buds of glowing dreams, or fleest like a wind goddess through leaves, or roamest, O ruby-eyed and snow-winged dove, flitting through thickets of thy pure desires in the unwounded beauty of thy soul. Thy soul has not been wounded so far, and it has an unbounded beauty. And in that, thou ruby-eyed, snow-winged like a dove, thou flittest through the bushes of thy pure desires, like a silver deer rushing through groves of coral flowers. I think we should